continent of Africa, and we're multiculturally African. These Africans that come over here are tribal and country gangbangers. Literally. They're gangbanging their tribes and their countries against other African people. And they have an African pride that is separate from other types of Africans. When we say we're African over here, we identify with the whole land. We trying to get it. We got kente cloth from over here. We got shells from over here. We got beads from over here. We got drums from South Africa and mass from over here. And we got it all together. So we really are African. We all of it. What we have become represents all of African culture. What they come is one part, and they ain't trying to share the rest. They'll let you know quickly. I ain't no nigga. I'm not black. I'm an African. What the hell is the difference? If you're walking through Ku Klux Klan's rally, do you care whether you're a Ghanaian or Sudanese? Do they? Can they really? Are they really gonna take the time to say, okay, well, you're a Nigerian. Okay, well, go ahead. You think they're only looking for so-called African Americans? The blacker you are, the worse. Because they want to know that they really hung and killed a pure black man. Right? They want to kill the blackest of black people to satisfy their demonicness. So it don't matter whether you are a Nigerian or a South African. If you get caught up in the wrong place at the wrong time, it would be as though you was just the same. So my point is, not only are we not trying to unify with people who are going under the classification of Latinos and all these other different nationalities, we want to take it all back to the original black man and dissolve all of that into the blackness. Do you see the point I'm making? We want to bring it all back into blackness. That's our whole goal. And we also want to get rid of some of that false African pride of people coming from Africa thinking that they're better than people over here, which is some more made up stuff. That must be destroyed so we can actually literally unify as a people. Because we all, no matter what continent or land or body of land or culture we come from, we all have something positive to bring to the table equally. We all have positive contributions to make together. So if anybody's coming with a better than or more than or greater than attitude, then they're destroying the cooperative basis for relationships. And we must destroy that. Sister told me last week that she said, you know, it seems that so-called African-American men only seem to eat child's food. This is what she said.
Child's food?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
She was dating an African, and he ate something else, some rice, or I don't know, something that he made, and she said African Americans seem to only eat child's food. And I said, okay, what do you mean when you say child's food? What do you mean by that? She said a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I said, my sister, there's no such thing as child food. I said the peanut, the Chinaman says a peanut a day will extend your life form. Now the Nation of Islam spoke against peanuts. But his peanuts have been known in How Eat to Live. Elijah Muhammad spoke against the peanut. But the peanut has been known to reduce cholesterol and to increase your virility and the vitality of the male sexual organs. Now, the bread, the wheat, is naturally a sedative that's good for the nervous system. If you add honey, honey helps preserve the teeth and creates helps build your immune system and create a protective lining within your stomach, because honey lasts forever. Honey is the one food that never goes bad. You can have some honey for 40 years and it'll be just as good. So no bacteria can live in honey. So honey is a natural preservative. If you add enough honey to anything, it can help preserve that. You see the Asians with ginseng roots that have been in the honey for about 20 to 30 years. Why is there no mold and no bacteria? Because honey is a natural preservative. That's the bottom line.
So there are no parasites?
No, parasites and all that cannot live in honey. It's not the proper environment. So, if you're eating a peanut butter and honey sandwich, these are just natural elements of the earth. These are natural, this is just nutrition. Just because you're eating a bowl of beans and rice and it's a cooked meal, a prepared meal, doesn't mean it's more nutritious than eating a peanut butter and honey sandwich. But since we're so Americanized, we say, well, man, that's a child. Children only eat peanut butter and honey. What type of madness is that? bees gather honey and eat honey? Do they eat it just when they're a child? Or do they eat it when they all throughout their life? It's a reality. Birds eat bread. And the peanuts. Elephants live off peanuts. So do you see these false conceptual frameworks that have been created about our society? She said the black man eat child food. So I had to go and break that down for her and say just because this African is eating rice and grains and eating in this particular manner doesn't mean that his lifestyle is any more evolved or greater than what we are doing. People want to go back to Africa and get away from truth and fact. They want to go into some African mystical world and get away from the basis of reality. And Africans come and capitalize off of that whole reality, that whole framework. So my point is, we have to change that attitude and be able to come together as black people. Drop all them titles and distinctions and classifications and separations, because it's going to exist. And if the people are not going to drop that, we don't have to build with them under them titles that they have, and refuse to build with them under those titles. Now, we often render humanitarian service to anyone of whom we can be service to, but we definitely ain't going to connect, or are not going to connect with people and organize with them under those titles. Because if they're living by them titles, they're always going to go back and try to fit right back into that particular community. And when they with you, they cool and black, and when they back with the African community, they laugh and look at those Negroes. They're so stupid. You see what I'm making?
Precisely.
So they're two-faced it with that type of approach. We can't go with that anymore any longer. We got to let that go. And we have to begin to respect and honor our culture and our contribution of who we are, where we're at. And that's not American. It's called survival, Jack. It's called you. If we hadn't have been over here fighting this particular battle with this European, our ancestors, these Africans wouldn't even be able to come over here and get the rights and privileges that we fought for in the civil rights, that our grandfathers fought for, our grandparents fought for. They wouldn't even be able to come over here and get that if it had not been for us over here. And if they have such a problem with us, then you have a problem with the reason that you can go to college and get what? Financial aid. You wouldn't be able to even get into these European colleges and universities and in this society that you so badly want to come over here and be if it had not been for the contributions of the so-called black man in America. We was over here fighting, battling on a political and economic, spiritual level, warfare, to open up this country where people of different melanins and hues from different countries can come over here and be over here in this country and have some sense of peace and try to have what they call it, liberty and happiness and all that stuff. What is it? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have no damn liberty if we have not fought for liberation. You feel what I'm making? Mm-hmm. They would have been coming over here and getting harmed. So we changed the nature of how the white boy sees black people, period. We redefined what a black man was in this country. We redefined it. Our ancestors redefined being black as being something other than being hung, being looked at as something less than human. You see what I'm making? We redefined that over here, not over there. And we got up under this European and helped tweak his reality. And it changed his perspective of black people all around the world. We did that. So you can't come over here talking about you have no culture, you have no this. We got the culture that allowed your ass to come on over here. We had the type of culture that was needed for you to come over here and try to be as white as you probably can. They say, well, we're African Americans. The conscious people over here are not African Americans. We are Africans, if we must use that word, in America. The black people, the African people so-called in Africa, are Americans in Africa. They're an American in an African. We might be an African in America, but they're Americans in Africa because they can't wait to get over here to participate in colonialism and capitalism and all this industrial technological bullshit. They can't wait. So we are yet Africans. And 50 years from now, they will have become more Americanized. And we, who are the conscious community over here, will become more chematized. We will be more Africanized. They're moving towards what? White supremacy, white institutionalism. Let me get over here, go to college. Let me get in the University of Chicago. Let me get up under this white boy and get into his schools and smile in his goddamn face. Let me do that. What are you going to be 50 years from now? You're going to have given up all your culture and you're going to be looking like the white boy. You ain't gonna be, they ain't going to even have an accent no more. They ain't going to even be, they're going to lose their culture. And we who have a sincere, devoted love for our culture, 50 years from now, our children will be the only real Africans that exist at this rate. The children of the black American conscious community will own, because we love our culture. We love the culture more than they do. They love this white supremacist industrialism, this new world order. They're in love with the new world order from how they act. They're in love with it. So my point is, we are even careful of people who are trying to unify with us under these different tribal terminologies. Because it's nonsense at the end of the day. We all eat the same. We all need the same things to sustain our lives. So those illusions of differences must be destroyed. Now, the thing with back to Farrakhan and questioning if that was about nation building altogether and getting rid of the books. Stop being attached to the pale Arab / white man's books. Stop being attached to the Bible, the book produced by the fag. What's the fag's name?
King Johnny.
King Flames.
Yes, sir.
With William Shakespeare up in there and the Nicene Council picking the books and shit that they want. There's nothing but white boys involved in that. Give that back to the white boy. Give him back his religion and his reality. And know that the infinite intelligence is inside of us. The divine consciousness of the universe is inside us and can shape our understanding of the absolute total right way to be. It's already in us. We have the sound consciousness within our own being, so we don't need his books anymore. His books have been our excuse not to think. Our excuse not to get back in tune with nature and to look at things for ourselves. His books has been that excuse for us. We can give up that excuse. We can let those books go. And to do that, my second subtitle of this lecture is called Let Lucifer. That's my goal. To let Lucifer. And to encourage people to let Lucifer. Now that's going to scare some Christians. That's going to scare some people. Let Lucifer? But when I go and break down the word, let loose of the fear. Some of us is walking around with a fear of the devil. I mean this mystical being somewhere under the earth that's going to burn everybody up for eternity. Some people are walking around with this false evidence appearing real, this fear of this devil, which is their fear. And that fear is limiting them from maximizing their potential and having the power to define their reality that's conducive to nation building. They cannot use their ability to decide or to decipher. They cannot begin to think and evaluate and eliminate based upon what is necessary. They must go and consult with books for fear to end up burning in eternity. Literally. So instead of using a scientific mind to weigh things out and to decide what is right and what is wrong, what is beneficial, what is not, what is advantageous and what is disadvantageous, what's disadvantage, they can't do that anymore. It's not what's advantageous or what's at a disadvantage. It's what's going to send me to hell to burn forever and what's going to send me to heaven. So they're not even scientifically analyzing reality on the physical universe. They're not saying, would it make sense for me to build this? Because if I build this, then I add that brick and add that up, then I have this. They said, no. Am I going to end up in this mystical place called hell burning forever? That's what guides their life.
In the afterlife.
Now come on. We are not going to build a nation if that is our contextual framework. Because if we do, we're limited already. They said, well, hell, thou shalt not steal.